Trước sau của chúng ta là môn này cái việc person die and the farm intermediate body.
Oh yeah.
So if you get what people pay at 49 days or
okay. This intermediate body is not for all rebirths. This intermediate body is only for the case of a being that is going to take rebirth in a womb. That means a being that is going to be reborn as a human being or as an animal that has to go into the womb. So for it to go into the womb, the egg must be fertilized. The egg must be fertilized, then only the consciousness can descend into that fertilized egg. So for that egg to fertilize, there are three conditions. First, for that birth to take place, there are three conditions. First, the mother and father must come together, and then the mother must be in the right season. That means the egg must be there, and then this being is waiting to enter the womb is there. So these three conditions. Now, how long it takes for him to wait to enter that womb is not mentioned in our Theravada original suttas. The Buddha only said that has to wait for the mother and father to come together. Then only when the egg is fertilized, then it can enter. So only for these two. And we know in our early suttas there are 5 destinations of rebirth: heavenly beings, human beings, ghosts, animal, and hell beings. Out of these 5, only this human and animal rebirth that being has to wait. For the other 3 is immediate rebirth. In heaven as a ghost, and in hell. In fact, hell is stated very clearly that when a being dies and his karma is going to bring him to hell, the hell beings will come up and drag him down to hell. What we say, ngao thao ma min, gu thao be bin, does exist. Hell beings.
Okay, there's another question. That for example, somebody is very deep samadhi, like maybe for many years or what. Then if somebody is going to push the body, will he out of samadhi or when there's a body contact, will he be out of samadhi or will he be still in the state even when somebody pushing or whatever?
It depends on his samadhi, how deep is his samadhi. In the suttas, it is mentioned that one day a layman was praising an external ascetic. I am not sure which one. He said this external ascetic, he was in deep samadhi. And then the king brought 500 soldiers passed by the road, making a lot of noise, these horses going with the horse carriage and everything. And this ascetic was sitting under the tree, and the king and 500 soldiers passed by. He didn't even know. He was in samadhi, he didn't even know. So he praised this ascetic to the Buddha. And the Buddha asked him, is this better? Or the Buddha said, at one time the Buddha was meditating in a hut in the forest, and then a storm arose, a big storm arose, and a lot of trees fell down, and lightning struck and all these things, strong winds, and so many trees fell down that a number of cows were killed, cows and buffaloes were killed. And then after the big storm, a lot of villagers came out and tried to clear the road and clear the damage done and all that. So the Buddha happened to come out of the hut and asked them, what happened? Why so many people around here? Then they said, there was a big storm. Where were you? They asked the Buddha. The Buddha said, I was in the hut. And they said, how come you were in the hut? You didn't know there was a big storm? The Buddha said, I was meditating. So the Buddha asked the man, which is better, not to hear the big storm or not to hear the 500 soldiers go by. So your samadhi, depending on how deep it is, that is different. So probably if you are in the first jhana, somebody comes and gives you a slap, maybe you make it out of your first jhana. But if you are in the fourth jhana, probably give you a slap, you may not come out of the fourth jhana. But in the higher state, the cessation of perception and feeling, if you enter that state, and they come and see you, you see your breath has stopped, your heartbeat has stopped, and they think you are dead. There's a case in the Suttas about the previous Buddha, one of the previous Buddha, the disciple, I think his name was Sanjiva, I think meaning come back to life. He was meditating in the deep forest alone, and he had entered this cessation of perception and feeling, where all his consciousness stopped. And then these villagers, they went to the forest to look for wood and look for this and look for that, and they saw him. And then when they found that his breath had stopped, his heart had stopped, they assumed that he was dead. So they thought, we'll give him a proper send-off. So they found a lot of dry wood, piled all the wood on top of him and burned the thing. And they thought, give him a proper cremation. And next morning, he went on alms round in the village. They got a shock. They thought his ghost came. Then they found that he survived the big flame. So you see, when he enters the cessation of perception and feeling, even a big fire also cannot harm him. So probably didn't even harm his robes also. Because otherwise he would have gone naked into the town.
So, but there is a possibility that, like for example, a great person, they meditate at home, then for very long hours, and somebody opened the door and noticed that he has been meditating for so long, and when he feels the breath and he goes back, so they call an ambulance. So when the ambulance came, they checked and they thought that he's sick. So they will bring them back to the hospital, right? So by then they were actually, when he was samadhi was sitting, so they will make the leg to straighten so that they can bring him to hospital. Mean at that stage there won't be any waking up or.
That depends on his his samadhi, and also before I came to Buddhism, I was practicing Hinduism for about 4 years. So I read about one of the Indian saints. When he was young, maybe because of his previous life, being able to enter samadhi, sometimes when he sleeps, he goes into a very deep sleep. So his friends come and disturb him, he's not aware, They tease him and slap him and all that, so he's not aware. So that has to do with the previous life.
But if, for example, they use a needle and they put him because when we got his out of right, normally the ambulance will use the needle to test. That first time there isn't any feeling, you will test like any time. So normally when doing this, does it affect the samadhi? That means you use the needle to pump.
If he's in a deep samadhi, it will not affect him. He's not aware of his body. I would think so. But generally, it's hard to find lay person who can attain that type of samadhi. Very rare. If he can attain that type of samadhi, he won't stay as a lay person. According to the Buddha's words, definitely he won't stay as a lay person. Now we don't talk about specific cases. I don't know.
I'd like to ask about revulsion. In the Suttas, the Buddha described a thing when we contemplate, which encourage us to get revulsion and passion. So is there a specific stage in terms of Nikaya? Is it a stage whereby the person will ultimately renounce renounce the world and perhaps live a spiritual life? For example, I'm just wondering, like Chitta, I would assume that he would have attained a certain level of revulsion and distraction towards the world, because he usually live as a monk, even though he's a person. So I just wonder is what made him not renounce the world and already a third vision.
You see, somebody like Chitta, even though he's not considered a renunciant, but I believe that the life he leads is very similar to a renunciant. So, because he has already seen the Dhamma and being an anagamin, he's not interested in worldly affairs. Probably his business and all that. He leaves to the wife to run the home and all that. And then he just considers his room to be like a cave. And he hides himself in the room the whole day or most of the time. Except maybe when it's time to do dana to the monks, he'll come out and do dana. So a person who can attain even the first sotapanna, he would already have some revulsion. This word revulsion, you can say disenchantment, you can say wearied of the world, xian liao la, ya liao la, yim jo. No more chasing after anything interesting in the world. No more interested to go and see Gua Tempurung.
I'd like to ask about the thinking before and the definition. In relation to that, means rebirth in human form look like it's destiny. It means who will go to, because we have to for the father and mother to come together. The mother has the right thing. So for somebody to take a rebirth in the human form, does it mean that who the parents will be is destinated?
This one I can't tell you. I can't tell you. You see, you can think of various possibilities. Say, suppose you take a plane, you go overseas on a holiday or something, and then your plane crashes, and then you die there. But say you die in America, but the people you have affinity with is in Malaysia. Whether your what you call soul or whatever there can come back to Malaysia. Interesting, huh?
It's a great area.
But this, there are some people, like this Professor Ian Stevenson, has written a book, done a lot of research about reincarnation. has written a small booklet, and the other person, I think it's Francis Story or something like that. Francis Story or Abyakata Baptist, written about